Shana Tova, everyone. Shana Tova. This morning, I want to focus on a part of our Torah reading that I usually shy away from. I'm a big fan of confronting difficult texts, but I was never sure what to do with this one. A study session with Rabbi Leon Morris of Pardes Institute in Jerusalem encouraged me to take another look. And you know what they say? Difficult times call for difficult texts. This is the section that Olivia read for us this morning. Sarah has told Abraham to kick Hagar and Ishmael out of the house. Abraham, who is known for his hospitality, only gives Hagar some bread and a skin of water. The water runs out. Hope is lost. She places Ishmael under a bush and moves away. The Torah tells us that she does this because she doesn't want to watch her son die. Then understandably, she bursts into tears. God hears Ishmael's cry. Ishmael's not Hagar's. The Torah doesn't tell us that Ishmael cries out, but this is what God hears. And an angel appears to help Hagar see that there is water. There is water, and they do survive. This was an impossible situation. There were no resources. There were no hope. There was no hope. It's a powerful, tragic, heart-wrenching moment. And when I read over it, it was crying out to me. In Hagar's story, I heard the plea from medical staff that was overrun during the pandemic. I heard the cry of individuals separated from their families on their deathbed. I heard the silence of people who were unable to leave abusive situations. In Hagar's story, I heard the outcry over violence and oppression, the exhaustion of people fleeing their homes for the first time, or the second time, or the third time. I heard the realization that for so many families, for so many individuals, there wasn't going to be enough food. Hagar's story is our collective story right now. The story of people, millions of people, trying to figure out what to do each and every day in impossible situations. One way to make it through is to understand that this is a time of creativity and change born out of necessity. I mean, it's been dramatic, right? Change. Look at what we're doing right now, right? And thank God that this technology exists, that we could even come together in this way. As imperfect as it is, we're celebrating our new year together. In impossible situations, we do all we can to find ways to adapt and find ways to make it to the next day. I find great inspiration in our early rabbis. They were given the worst kinds of lemons, the most atrocious of situations. And they found ways to make it work. They made the most incredible lemonade, and to even use that comparison, it just doesn't do it a bit of justice. Because of course our temple was destroyed. Our connection with God was cut off. There was no hope of building a third temple. It wasn't an option. Still today, it's not an option. And I don't think that there's any way that we can truly fathom what the loss of the temple, the destruction of the temple meant to the Jews in antiquity. The sense of loss, the questioning of identity, the challenge to theology, the upheaval of the world. In the midst of war and persecution, they adapted. There was crisis, and there was creation. Rabbinic Judaism that came out of that time has now lasted for millennia. And we continue to be a link in that chain. And our Judaism hasn't lasted for so long by remaining static. We are a Reformed Jewish congregation, and we strive to continue reforming, changing, adapting to respond to the needs of the day. And we need to do more. We need to continue to adapt to the time that we're living in, to the realities that we face. I definitely know that for so many people, a Zoom service is not enough. And I've asked, what else can CBI do to support you? And I know that there are so many people who desperately want us to open our doors. And I want you to know, we are working very hard to open those doors. We have plans in place. We're working very hard. It won't be too long. But at the same time, opening the doors are not going to be enough, not even close, because we know that even if we open our doors, it's not going to be normal. And it's not going to be normal for a while. We only need to look at Israel right now. Israel had early on one of the lowest rates in the world, and now it has some of the highest. Just before Rosh Hashanah, there were over 5,000 new cases in Israel. And their population isn't that much greater than DFW. 5,000 new cases in one day. Too many people tried for too much normal, too quickly. And right now, on Rosh Hashanah, Israel is back in lockdown. The situation is not just going to go away. We are going to open our doors, but it will be different and it won't be business as usual. But what we need to adapt, what we need to do is we need your brainstorms and we need your ideas. The board and I need your help so that we can figure out how to change and adapt and innovate to meet our needs, the unique needs of our congregation. None of us have all the answers, but each of us has something to contribute. And I have great confidence that we can find practical and intelligent solutions to help our community, our Jewish community, our sacred community, to thrive in the new year. It will take time. We'll get there, but it will take time. And if Hagar's story is our collective story, there are so many out there, so many of us who will need more immediate help. But Hagar was saved by an angel. But what if the angel arrives too late? Again, at the binding of Isaac, when Abraham is about to sacrifice his son Isaac, an angel stops him. And what if that angel arrived too late? As a teenager, I still remember the opportunity to hear Rabbi David Saperstein, the former director of the Religious Action Center in Washington, D.C., and former U.S. ambassador. And I heard him speak beautifully and passionately about our ability to have an impact on the world and how we are the angels and how we must not arrive too late. We must not be too late to care for people, to support people, to save people. Sometimes there are angels, and sometimes we can be and need to be those angels. I have heard many stories of people being angels, from the incredible efforts of CBI's own Kobe Warner, who heard about the extreme need for face shields in hospitals and said, I can do something about that. He's an engineering student, and working with a friend, he designed and produced hundreds, if not thousands, of 3D printed face shields that have literally been lifesavers for medical personnel, first responders, and so many others. There were angels who responded to the call of Christopher Avtges. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, Avtges. His mom was on the third floor of a lockdown senior living facility. She hadn't seen her husband of 61 years in weeks. So he put out a call for a bucket truck, the kind that lift people up. And angels answered his call. They wiped everything down. His 88-year-old father got decked out in gloves and mask, and they lifted him to the third-story window where he was able to visit his wife. So many stories like that. And yet the need for angels so greatly outweighs the supply. So many disasters, so many challenges that we are facing. There are so many medical professionals and first responders and teachers and mental health practitioners and social service workers and more who are angels trying to respond to that great need. They are saving lives each and every day. And we need more. We need more, and we need you. The phone calls you make, the backyard gatherings you organize, the times you look beyond your close circle to someone who's more isolated, the time you spend helping someone learn how to use Zoom, the contributions of food and supplies. Oh my goodness, right now the need is great. And right now, those simple acts, those basic acts of decency, transform you from being just a person, even a mensch, into being an angel. Those simple acts are like finding water in the desert. Be an angel. Help someone make it through the day. Be an angel for the real sense of purpose that can help you to make it through the day as well. And know that when you need an angel, when you need that support, that strength, then it's our turn to support you. L'Shana Tova. May this be a good year, God willing, a happy year and a healthy year. And may it be a year when the angels help to mitigate the terrible need that we see within our community, within our congregation. Let's do what we can to make it the best year possible. Shana Tova. Shana Tova.